Pentagon Deputy Spokeswoman with me now, and thank you for coming back from the Pentagon. Good morning to you. I want to get to a little, that live shot notwithstanding what Trey just showed us, a little bit about the capability of the Iranian military. Half of the missiles either failed to launch or failed in flight or crashed well before they hit Israel. Why was that? What does that say about Iranian capability?
Well, thanks, Bill, for having me. That's exactly right. We're still doing our initial assessments right now of the strikes, our successful strikes with the IDF and other partners in the region to assess exactly what happened when Iran did fire some of its ballistic missiles and cruise missiles. So those assessments are ongoing. But what I can tell you is that what was an unprecedented attack was met by an unprecedented united coalition that was able to knock out nearly 99% of what Iran shot towards Israel. And so that says an incredible capability, speaks to the capability of the Israeli military, of the U.S. military, of our partners in the region, and really speaks to Iran's failures. Because at the end of the day, Iran was not successful in this attack, so they really have been projecting this image to the world that is frankly being questioned, as you can see on Saturday.
Now, I would agree with that, too. You know, you can understand the U.S. and the U.K. pitching in for Israel. But reports about Jordan and the UAE and Saudi Arabia, and maybe others, too, in the Arab world also helped out that have not been publicized. What does that say about how the region has changed?
Well, look, I think the region certainly sees the defense of Israel as important. And that's why you saw a coalition of like-minded countries come together in support of Israel's self-defense. And we're incredibly proud of our efforts. I mean, the incredible military capability that was on display Saturday night. You had our fighters in the air coordinating with other partners, the Israeli Defense Force, of course, as well. And then we had our 2 destroyers also in the Eastern Mediterranean engaging and being able to shoot down these ballistic missiles. I mean, what you saw was an unprecedented, coordinated response that I think not only sends a message to Iran, but a message to adversaries around the world looking to what the U.S. military capabilities really are.
Sabrina, I think the fact that Israel has Arab partners in a military sense is the biggest news out of this entire weekend. That tells me that the region has changed, and hopefully forever. Now, with regard to the U.S. president, apparently says if Israel strikes back, it will do it alone. What does that mean?
Well, look, as Trey was reporting out in Israel, the War Cabinet is meeting today. They met yesterday. I'm not aware that a decision has been made, but that is really a sovereign decision for Israel to make. The president has been very clear that we stand with Israel in their self-defense, but we really don't want to see a wider war, a wider regional conflict, and we don't seek war with Iran.
Okay, but back to the question. Will the U.S. help Israel if and when it chooses to respond?
That is a question for Israel to answer. They haven't made a decision that I'm aware of. The War Cabinet is meeting now. Our mission right now is in support of defending Israel, and that's what you saw us do on Saturday.
But if Benjamin Netanyahu asked the United States for help, would we answer that call?
Look, I'm just not going to get into hypotheticals or conversations that we're having in private channels. What I can tell you is what we've reiterated publicly and privately is that we do not seek war with Iran. We do not want to see this widen out to a broader regional conflict.
All right, last question. From Iran, we are ready to use weapons that we have not used before. What does that mean?
Well, that's incredibly dangerous rhetoric. I can't speak to exactly what they're referring to, but what I can tell you is looking at what we were able to do on Saturday. We were able to shoot down 99% of what they lobbed towards Israel. I think that sends a really clear message to Iran that their capabilities, that they assess, that they project to the world that they are this great military power is really coming into question. And so while I can't speak to what they're referring to, I would say that the coalition that Israel had behind its back on Saturday, again, is something to be incredibly proud of.
Sabrina Singh, thank you for your time, and we'll await the next chapter in this story.